Hola, friends. Welcome to the Medicine, Marriage, and Money YouTube channel, the only channel for physicians who want to achieve marital interdependence and financial freedom together. On this channel, you will learn how to show up as the best version of yourself so that you can love intentionally and build a more financially savvy relationship with your spouse. And I am your host, a physician mom, a doctor's wife, a Gottman leader, a certified life and marriage coach, Dr. Kate Mangona. Welcome. Bienvenidos. Hello, sweet friends. Okay, so the topic of the hour, from exhausted to in love in 3 simple steps. Now, why do I find this is important is because so many times I hear from my colleagues, from friends, from the physician Facebook community that we are all exhausted. We're exhausted from work, from talking to patients who may or may not be grateful, from taking our kids to and from school and all their activities, and then coming home to have to cook and clean and tidy, and then finish our charts and work on applying for promotion, then figure out how to renew our passports because we're going on that anniversary trip next year for the family or for our in-laws, and then taking care of aging parents. The list goes on, right? Trying to go find a new car, we're buying a new house, or we're flipping we're investing in real estate. I hear from so many physicians that they're exhausted, especially physician moms. I am exhausted. I come home, the kids are sitting on the couch watching TV. There's nothing made for dinner. And my husband asks me, "So what are we eating? What are we eating tonight? What's for dinner?" And we just got home from work. We're still in our scrubs. We just want to go take a shower. We just want to close the door and go away from it all. But what do we do instead? Well, the martyrs as we are, sometimes we put our stuff down in the mudroom or in the corner. We figure out if we're going to be cooking pasta or making a kale salad. We yell at our children to turn the TV off, finish their homework. And we tell our spouse to figure out what, to clean to wash the dishes or to help us out or do something for us. We are just exhausted. And maybe you have a spouse who's actually very, very helpful and he's doing a million things too. He or she are taking the cars and filling them with gas, getting them washed, getting oil changed, fixing the broken water heater, making sure that your children get picked up from soccer practice or basketball practice, right? We're all so busy. So how then, Kate, do I go from exhausted to in love? And this is what I'm here to share with you guys today, because I truly believe that you are in control of your own exhaustion. And some of you may be saying, but I don't get enough sleep at night. And I have something called a toddler who wakes up and I sleep train him and then he regresses. And then I'm working on potty training my 5-year-old or my 6-year-old. And they wake me up in the middle of the night because they wet the bed. Or I have a baby and I'm still breastfeeding. Or I have a preteen and they're having night terrors. Whatever it may be, I have kids. I don't get to sleep a full 7 or 8 hours a night. Of course, I'm going to be physically exhausted. And then guess what happens? Patient outcomes go down, moral injury increases, overall career fulfillment decreases, and our overall joy we find in life and our personal connections and love we find, joy we create between us and our spouse, and the quality time we do spend with our children after work, all that stuff takes a toll because we're just exhausted. So this 3 steps I wanted to go with you today gives the control back to you. and away from the workplace, away from your pager, away from your children. It places the control back in your hands. So So first step number one is very similar to if you are involved in any quality improvement projects at work, it's going to be sound very familiar. So I was recently at the White Coat Investor Conference in Orlando, and I watched one of my dear friends, Brittany Halford. She's a money coach, and she gave a lecture on quality improvement processes and how we can actually apply those to our own life. And I love this because what she did is she took the root cause analysis, or the fish bones approach, and applied it to her own life. And she documented. So before we get there, what's the first step? The first step is why. And it's asking yourself why 5 times. Okay. So you're going to want to pull over if you're driving, or get out a journal, a notebook, and do this. Why? Why am I so exhausted? You might write down, I have kids. Okay. Not why do I have kids, but the second why would be, why am I so exhausted? What about kids is making me so exhausted? Okay. Well, maybe it's that you're getting up to breastfeed every 2 hours. Okay. Why are you getting up to breastfeed every 2 hours? Well, because my pediatrician says that I need to. My child has growth. They're not growing. They're falling off the growth curve, and I have to feed more often. Okay. Or maybe you could go the other way. I'm not getting to bed in time, and that probably applies to a very small select few of you, because I don't go to sleep in time, because I'm scrolling on social media, or I am deleting my emails, or I am doing the dishes. And so I don't go to sleep until after midnight, or I'm charting. So you ask yourself why. Okay, well, why am I charting until midnight every day? I leave the office at 6, I get home, I take care of the kids until 8, 9, I spend an hour with my spouse, and then I chart. Or I don't even spend an hour with my spouse. I just chart all evening until I fall asleep. I don't even have time to snuggle, to read a book, to take to shower. What if we didn't have time to shower, y'all? What if you cut that out of your life? We'd be pretty stinky. Well, let's just imagine that if we are not creating time intentionally to spend with our love and with ourselves, loving ourselves, our relationship is going to turn out pretty stinky. So, in order to avoid a stinky relationship, let's continue asking ourselves why. Why do I bring my chart home? Well, because I refuse to chart in the room. I like to be my patient eye to eye, and I like to do that afterwards. And I get distracted in between patients because there are always these lab values to check. Scrolling on social media. Well, why am I scrolling on social media? Because it's the way I de-stress. Is it intentional? Is it? You find it joy? Does it bring joy to you every night to scroll on social media? So ask yourself why 5 times. Okay, after you've done it 5 times, keep asking yourself why over and over again. You're going to get to what could be the root cause of your problem. I would suggest doing it on multiple things. If it's the charts, if it's the social media, and it's the kids causing you to have less than 7 hours of sleep at night, do the why for all 3 of those. Okay. And then document. And this is what I love. Brittany, what she did is she made a chart of 2 weeks, and she did an audit for 2 weeks, and she wrote down each day she didn't get 7 hours of sleep. Each day her kids woke her up in the middle of the night. Each day she took her home with her and charted at night. Each day she got takeout instead of having a home cooked meal. And so she wrote these, and then the other thing I thought interesting she tracked was days she left in the morning and her kids were crying or whining or upset, because that really emotionally affected her and affected her whole day. So after you ask yourself why 5 times in all the realms that you think are leading to your exhaustion, you're going to document them. And then you're going to circle after 14 weeks. Okay, so this process, you can do it now, and you can backlog the last 14 weeks, but usually we don't keep that much in our head. Or you could do it prospectively. Okay, so the next 2 weeks, you're going to count how many hours you had at night of sleep, how many days you left and the kids were crying, how many days you brought your charts home, etc. Okay, so after you figure out what the root cause is or root causes, we move to the second step. Now, the second step is implementing change. This seems very simple. Remember, there's only 3 steps here, so it's like there's only one more. Let's just spend 2 minutes on step 2, implementing change. So this is where you get to make the decision. Are you going to have a no phone policy in your bedroom? Leave your charger in your bathroom? Are you going to have somebody else help you breastfeed at night? Hire a wet nurse? Are you going to start sleep training your children differently so that they don't come in and wake you up in the middle of the night every single night? I will give you one example. My 6-year-old and 4-year-old have come into our bedroom every single night for years. My 6-year-old, since she was 2, we actually fall asleep with her and then we move to our bed, but inevitably she comes into our bedroom every single night between midnight and 2 a.m. And I decided after the last intimacy retreat that my husband and I went on together in October, similar to the one that I'm hosting next October, 2024, that I was going to come down a little bit more hardcore, but I was going to make it magical. It had to be a positive experience for both me and my 6-year-old. So what I said, you know what? We're going to do something really exciting, Shanola. If you sleep in your bed by yourself for 14 days, that's 2 weeks. This is how we do things in our house. It's 2 weeks. Then you are going to get a new magical bed. And we're going to decorate the ceiling with new magical stars. So currently my 4 and my 6-year-old share a queen bed, a queen mattress on the floor in their room. But she was so excited. We all went to the store together. We went to IKEA just to test out the different types of beds to see what she liked. And we ended up ordering it on Amazon. But she fell in love with this sleigh style toddler bed. Now I have a tiny 6-year-old, so she's going to be fitting in a toddler bed for the next several years. And the way she sleeps, the queen mattress we have is kind of off kilter. It's diagonal to the walls. So there's actually a triangle. If you can imagine it not being flush, like it's not at a 90-degree angle, it's like at a 45-degree angle. So there's a triangle in between the mattress and the wall. She sleeps in that space. She puts like 6 pillows down and then she sleeps on top of those pillows and under the pillows. So she likes small spaces. So she was so excited. And it took longer than 14 days because we had to keep redoing it. And then we went on vacation and then she got sick, but we kept at it. And she finally earned, oh my gosh, Brittany, I'm so glad you're joining here. I just talked about you and your presentation you gave at the White Coat Investor Conference and how step number 1 from exhausted to in love was all about asking yourself why 5 times because of the quality improvement and getting to the root cause analysis. So we're on step number 2 right now from exhausted to in love, and that's the implementing change part. So this is what we did, is because I knew that was part of the reason I wasn't getting as great of quality of sleep is because I was allowing my 4 and my 6-year-olds come into my bed every night. I decided I was going to implement a huge change. And she's been sleeping on her own for over 2 weeks. And she just got her toddler bed. Her father put it together with my love, put it together with her this weekend, and she slept in it for the first time last night. And the 4-year-old, once she gets back on track, she's been sick for a while. Now, I do love cuddling with my kids. Don't get me wrong. But I also enjoy my sleep. So she's going to get her toddler bed next once she hits 14 days. My 2-year-old, she's in her crib still, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's go to the next issue. What was another why for you? What was another issue or thing in your life that was keeping you in the exhausted zone and not in the in love zone? Maybe it was charting. Maybe it was social media. What are we going to do about that charting? Why are you bringing home those charts? Like, remember, what was your fifth, sixth, or seventh why? Five, at least five. Okay. Now, how do you want to implement change? That may be as simple as deciding you're going to finish your charts at work and you're going to focus on one thing at a time instead of multitasking. Between the hours of 4 p.m. and 5 p.m., you no longer see patients, or 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., whatever it is, you are only charting. The sign is on your door, do not disturb. This is going to be a bold move, especially when you're used to being a martyr. This will be change. Maybe it will be getting a charting coach or asking if you have a relationship coach already or a money coach. Let's talk about charting. I know because some of my clients have told me that coaching is magical. They don't know what happened, but they no longer bring their charts home. What about the social media thing? What are you willing to do to implement change to move away from exhaustion? I'm getting a question from the live audience. Can you hire someone to chart for you? This is an amazing question. I'm so glad you asked because as a physician, you do have a certain obligation to your patient and you have to sign off on your charts. This does not mean you can't hire somebody to help you. So there are what they call scribes who will create your note or put that chart together for you. Create that note, whatever encounter, if it was an inpatient encounter, an ER encounter, an outpatient encounter, you can hire a scribe to do this. Just like you can hire a scribe to write a book for you, which most celebrities do, by the way, and coaches. You can hire a scribe that gets the framework down. A lot of times scribes are med students or somebody in the medical career community. They want to go back and they want to be a physician, or they want to go back and they want to be a nurse, or they just decided they want to learn medical terminology and this is going to help them. They're usually very highly ambitious, motivated, and smart people. You hire a scribe and this may come out of your own paycheck. Well, is it worth it to you? What is not being exhausted worth to you? What is in love worth to you? Remember, we're moving away from pain, that daily exhaustion, the daily grind, the feeling like you are in the hamster wheel and you can't get off, to in love. And it's all about figuring out the root cause and implementing real change. So you can hire a scribe and you can speed it up. I definitely recommend focusing on one thing at a time. Multitasking is a fallacy. Yeah, I would like to hire an admin assistant. Maximize the value of your time at home. That's what it's all about. It's about maximizing the value of your time. Okay, and I could go on a whole other rabbit hole on ways to do that, right? And maybe it's cleaning the dishes, doing the laundry, meal planning. Well, guess what? You can either delete it or you can delegate. You can delegate to your 14-year-old to do the dishes. My 4-year-old can do the dishes. Okay, all I have to do is take the plates, scrape off the food in the trash, put it in the dishwasher. You can make it a family activity. You can hire the local neighborhood high schooler who wants to earn $20 every day after school or before school. You can hire somebody to help you get the kids ready for school in the morning so nobody's yelling and having a tantrum. Delegation is so important, my sweet friends, so that you can prioritize the time you have with your love. So figure out what it is you need to implement change and then do it. And then the third step is trading expectations for appreciation. And part of that is if you do hire out somebody to help you do these things, meal plan, cook, clean, scribe, if you do hire these people, think about how grateful you are to invite them into your lives instead of wanting to micromanage everything about what they do or being upset that they didn't do it perfectly, just the way you wanted it to be done. Right? If you hire somebody else to do these things for you, keep in mind that they're likely unless you pay the big bucks, which do. If you would like to use money that way, use it. Money's a tool. You likely won't be able to find somebody right off the bat that does something as great as you can. You can usually hire somebody, the 80-20 rule, exactly. Somebody who is they are 80% as good at it as you are, as good as done. You've spent more time with your love, cuddling on the sofa, watching a show, reading a book, or just flirting, having a glass of wine, or sparkling water. That's your jam. That's my jam. And just talking about life. Spend that time with who really matters. And the trading expectations for appreciation doesn't just hold true for the people you hire. It can hold true for the things you delete in your life. Like I have recently deleted organizing the playroom when I come home from work, or organizing the bookshelves that used to drive me nuts because people put the books on horizontally instead of vertically. They all are shoved in there, vertical, cattywampus, horizontal on top of vertical. I shut the door. I shut the door to the playroom. If you can't shut the door physically, shut the door mentally. I am so appreciative. I have a full-time nanny to help me watch my children while I am at work 3 days a week, clinically, and coaching and podcasting and helping other people's marriages as well as my own the other 2 days of the work week. So I can spend evenings, some mornings. I like to work out in the mornings, evenings with my family, work guest coaching, and weekends entirely with family, not charting, not working on letters of recommendation, because I found a way to do that during the week, because I delegate, because I say no. Sometimes you just have to say no and delete things. So let's just go over the 3 simple steps briefly to summarize to go from exhausted to in love. Number 1, ask yourself why 5 times. Get to the root cause of your exhaustion. Number 2, implement real, solid change. This is going to take a very strong why, a very strong want. You might even want to hire a coach. But I assure you, you can do this on your own. Implement change. Do this in 1, 2, 3 realms of your life that are creating exhaustion. To go away from exhaustion and closer to in love. Number 3, trade expectations for appreciation, and your life will never be the same. You will be so much more in love and passionate for the people you invite into your life, including your love, your spouse, your partner, your significant other, your children, your friends. And with that, let's choose love, because after all, love is a choice. Love is optional. Love is a choice you get to make every single day. And I recommend, if you want to implement real change, lasting change, you go for immersion. And I am going to emphasize, what is immersion, Kate? You may be thinking of like a foreign language school that you send your children to learn. In Dallas, we have the international school, French, the Spanish house, Spanish world school, Spanish. Now, I am going to tell you that intimacy and love is another language, right? The love languages. And it's innate. Love is an innate feeling. We have it inside of us. Yet when we have a busy career and a lot of little children, we forget how to nurture that intimacy and that love. So when you go to something like a conference or a retreat, when you're bombarded with constant messages, coaching, other people, power couples who want to elevate their marriages and relationships and want to learn how to be more intimately together, more passionate, more aligned in their values and their goals, and more in the headspace they want to be. What am I referring to? Well, there are a lot of relationship retreats out there, and I'm going to recommend Honeymoon 2.0, which will be an absolute luxury at the Four Seasons in Maui, October 7th through 11th, 2024. where I and my co-host, Alexandra Stockwell, an intimacy expert and marriage coach for the last 10 years, will be hosting 5 beautiful days for you and your love to join us and work on your headspace, work on communication and emotionally intelligent tools, work on playful tips for the bedroom, inside and out. Intimacy starts the moment you open your eyes and you look at your partner. Intimacy starts the moment you open your eyes and you look at your partner. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are you imagining? With that, I invite you to come to Honeymoon 2.0 with us at the Four Seasons in Maui. The link will be in the show notes, or you can find it in my bio or my Facebook cover page. DM me for any questions. We are almost halfway full, so I suggest you sign up now rather than later. And if you are listening to this before Valentine's Day or on Valentine's Day, we do have a Valentine's Day special, so make sure you get that code. $500 off, and I look forward to seeing you. Please let me know how you're going to implement change today to go from exhaustion and exhausted to in love with those 3 simple steps, and share this with a friend. You have the power to save somebody else's relationship today or to simply enhance. You have the power to take somebody's relationship from good to outstanding. We're not here to be good or great. We are here to be outstanding in everything we do, including loving, nurturing, and supporting the most meaningful relationships we have. Share this, leave us a review, and email me. Send me a message. Let me know how this has helped you and what is the one thing you're going to do tomorrow to implement these 3 steps into your life to creating lasting change and eliminate exhaustion or move away from exhaustion and towards love. So much love to you and your spouse. And thank you for everything you do, for the patience you serve, for the sacrifices you have created in your life in order to put our patients first. It's time to also put your family first and yourself. Thank you. If you are finding the concepts I teach in these episodes useful and want more in-depth and personalized support for your relationship, consider this your invitation to join me in creating the most connected and intimate relationship with your spouse that you could dream of. Go to www.medicinemarriageandmoney.com right now and download my 18-page medical marriage survival guide and workbook at no cost to you. I also have a 6-day marriage challenge, which goes over the 6 predictors of divorce at no cost to you. These have been known to decrease fighting, rumination, and grudges between you and your loved one. If you want to take it a step farther, really enhance the joy and connection in the most intimate relationship in your life, sign up for my 8-week Making Marriage Work program today at medicinemarriageandmoney.com. Thanks for leaving us a stellar review, subscribing, and sharing with your friends on social media. You have the power to improve someone else's life and marriage simply by sharing this episode. Much love to you and your spouse. You're exactly where you need to be in this moment. Adios, my friends. The content of this episode is not intended to be a substitute for professional, medical, or financial advice. The opinions provided on this episode are those of myself or the invited guest alone. They do not represent the opinions of any particular institution. Always seek the advice of your physician or financial advisor with any questions you may have of a medical condition or financial plan. This is for your entertainment only.